Good morning. Today I thought I'd run people through how you can turn a recyclable cat litter into some really good garden compost. If you want to find out more about that, hang around. We get a lot of great companionship from our pets. We actually put them into enclosures where they get opportunities to move around and be part of the environment around them. But we want them to be kept responsibly, and also that means you have to find a way to get rid of their waste. We use a wood-based cat litter here. In Australia it's called Ozpet. You can look that up. There's a lot of other versions of this. There's also, as you know, paper-based cat litters. They can also be substituted in what I'm about to show you. My only warning I give you about paper litters is because they're dyed to be a more attractive colour, that dye colour will hang around for quite a long time. So I guess the question has to be asked, why do we do it? We've got a lot of garden space here and we need a lot of compost. And just over here I'm going to show you the end product of what we're doing today. In fact, in this case we're going to be using a cone composting or a slow composting cold method to show you what you can get out of by using the mix I'm about to show you today. The result is brilliant. In the case of a cold composter, of course, it takes longer. Hot composting bays, which we also have here and we also use cat litter in that, generates a much faster result. So what you can see here is what we end up with. It's a thick water absorbent mix. You can see here that coming out of the cones it's full of worms, absolutely beautiful, and it's basically a very dense mix. This bed is being set up to receive it. This is the style of composter we're going to use. I would advise, if you're going to use a cone composter, it's probably preferable to use one that can give you a 1 cubic metre mass, such as the composting methods that are recommended mostly all over the world by the Berkeley method. So this is what we use today. One of the best ways to start compost is to have some compost in there from your last batch. Of course, if you're starting off, you won't have that advantage, but if you've got friends that have composting, take a bucket home. It's a good way to get some biology into your own. Okay, so here we have everything we need to make a really good compost. We have wood pelletized cat litter. Again, as I said, you can use recycled paper litter. We have straight green material, trimmings from vines here, and we have a really nice mix of mixed green and brown material. Leaves, weeds, things that the lawnmower has cut up from down the back of our block. As I said before, some remnant compost in the cone is a really big help, and water. The key to this is water. There's plenty of nitrogen in the greens that you're going to use. There's residual nitrogen from urine in the cat litter. Have to stress, the cat litter has to be strained. You don't want feces in there. Any cat poo that you've got in there is not going to be helpful at all. I always prefer to start a batch of compost with some greens in contact with the ground to encourage worms to come up and start working through the actual compost itself while it starts to break down. So the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to add some of our vine pruning. Now with the vine pruning, you don't need a huge amount of green mass to get yourself started. This is basically a trigger layer which you're using to bring the worms up into the actual space itself. Next, you need a large volume of brown. So in this case, we're going to put in a large volume here. I'm just going to grab something and we'll mix this around. Something like this old garden claw hoe that's cut off and just been fitted onto a handbar is a great way to spread these browns around. Your volume of brown should be about, most people would argue, probably about 5 to 1. I don't think it really makes all that much difference, but it is better if you have a higher volume of brown. In this mix, that's favourable because you're trying to get rid of the actual, you're trying to break down the cat litter itself. So the next thing we're going to add is our mixed material. The great thing about it coming from a lawnmower is it's already ready to go. Last step, water, and plenty of it. This process gets repeated as many times as you can. You keep mixing it in together using something like a claw hoe or a stick, or you can buy a compost aerators. They're like a tool, it's like a corkscrew, and you gradually turn that over, leave it in peace, let it sit, check on it every now and again, put your kitchen scraps in there, your leaves you might sweep up, some old straw, bedding straw is brilliant, and leave it to its own devices. I hope that's been helpful to you. If this has been of use, you know, please think about liking the video, subscribing maybe. Hopefully a few more tips like this I can give you as time goes on. But I'll just leave you with a parting thought. We all want to be part of a you know, sustainable lifestyle, sustainable planet. We want our pets. The easiest thing to do is to find a way to make that happen. So, if you want to turn this into this, you just need your greens, your sifted litter, bit of mixed stuff, plenty of water, and mix it around a bit. You'll have great stuff for growing in no time. Thanks again. See you later.